This is something that I call polarized marketing, and it's where you are polarizing. You're getting rid of all of the regular pieces of the market, not everybody. You are talking to an individual and one person or one segment of the market. And this is kind of 101, right? It's nothing new. But the polarized marketing method is where I think that we get caught up in what it is that we do or what we are, right? So when somebody says to you, what do you do? Then I'll turn around and say, well, I'm a business coach or I'm a marketing coach or whatever, right? And that's kind of identifying us as, I guess, as the job. And what we want to do is we want to shift that. We want to shift that in our mind. So one of the things that I always think about when people ask me what I do is, how do I transpose that question? And instead of me saying, well, I'm a coach, and I screw this up all the time anyway, it's not 100%, but somebody says, what do you do? Instead of me saying I'm a coach, I re-ask the question in my brain to say, how do you help people? So whatever they say doesn't really matter. I'm re-asking the question inside, which is, how do you help people? And this is what I'm proposing to you. So when anybody asks you what it is that you do, instead of naturally gravitating towards your job title or whatever that is, you want to rephrase that question, okay? So forget about the process of like how you do it. It's always about the problem that you solve, all right? So when you're dealing with anything like this, it is always about the problem. Well, usually it's about the problem. There's exceptions to the rule where it might be about a gain. People are gaining something, but more than likely, like 85% to 90% of everything that we do is to push away from pain, right? So if you're using that pain as your motivator or as what you're talking about to people, then it really piques their interest. And I'll give you an example of this, okay? So if people said to me, like, what do you do? Then I will immediately go into, well, do you know those online people who are stuck spinning their wheels? Well, I give them a clear path so they can actually go from frustration to freedom. And that's it. So it's very simple. They understand that. And it's to the degree, and we're not talking now about an elevator. This kind of is an elevator pitch or your opening statement, whatever you want to call it. However, the difference here is that you're not going into so much detail, because I could have gone on for that. I could have gone into, go from frustration to freedom by using my club marketing system or within 30 days or blah, blah. I can go into more detail, but I want to stop where I stop, because I want people to say, how do you do that? And that's the key. That's the key to opening the communication, because if people aren't interested in what you've done, if you've structured that the right way, they're just going to say something like, that's pretty cool, or that's awesome, or something like that. And that's really not an indicator for you to go on to move into the conversation, to extend that conversation. And that's where I screwed up a lot when I started doing this stuff with elevator pitches and all this other things, right? No matter what anybody said, it I would just invite myself in to open up and have that conversation, and they did not invite me in. So what this does, it allows you to tell people exactly what you do very quickly, but it opens the door for an invitation. You want to stop where you've given them enough information about the pain that you're solving, but not enough information that closes that conversation. It should open the conversation. That makes sense? So here's what I've got here for some ideas or some points I want to make here, okay? When you're trying to structure this, you are looking for the top 3 frustrations. These are the things that we always work on, right? This is like marketing 101, the top 3 frustrations, and what are the best solutions that you can provide from them. So it's always about the pain, and the faster your target niche will allow you to, the faster your target niche will allow you to leverage your initial solution to others. Let me just see. Did I? Can't even read my own typing here. The faster you target a niche with your simple solution or your signature solution, it's got to be unique to you. So that's really important. Where you are targeting somebody in a specific niche, you don't want to be wide. That's why I'm always talking about people who are stuck and frustrated in their online business and they want to go from frustration to freedom. So if you're targeting such a wide area, like a huge area, or like audience, you're not going to pique the interest enough. And you want to use key language that people are always using. So on the conversations that I have, these are the things that we look for, is when you're looking at the market or you're talking to people, you're looking at threads, whatever that is, those key pieces of information, the words that they use, is what you just spit back out into the marketplace. So again, what do you do? You're gonna transpose that question. If people say, what do you do? Then they're really asking, how do you help people? And that's really what they want to know. They want to know how you help people. You could also do, well, the problem that I solve is this, or the solution that I have is this. Go right into what it is that you help people do. So again, it's not about the process. It's always about the pain that you're working with, okay? The one other thing I want to talk about here about when you do this too is getting out of professor mode. And I see a lot of marketing messages or whatever it is where people are trying to be really cute and they're trying to be really fancy with their wording. And that's what I call professor mode. And it's because we're in the marketplace. We know what certain words mean, or, we're just using, I guess, industry language that we expect other people to know. And even if they do know it, you don't want your message or your opening lines to have somebody think about it, right? You want it to be very simple, and you want it to be so simple that a 12-year-old can understand it. This is, again, marketing 101, but that's what this is all about, is like crafting a message that a 12-year-old can understand, okay? Be very specific about the problem. So my specificity there is online business people who are stuck spinning their wheels. That's pretty specific. I mean, I can get even more specific, but those are the people I want to deal with first. And then I'm telling them that because they're stuck, then listen to the language after that, right? Because they're stuck, then I'm saying I'm giving them a clear path so they can go from frustration to freedom. And that is basically telling people what I do. But I didn't tell you how I do that. So that's what I'm looking for, is I'm looking for that feedback to say, how do you do that? How do you clear the path? Like, what do you do for them? Like that kind of stuff, which opens up that conversation. It opens up the area where I can now give them my roadmap. I can give them the steps. I can talk about the steps, or, get into more of a conversation where are you stuck? That kind of thing. And it just opens up that conversation. See how that works? So for you, same thing. That's what I suggest. Don't talk about who you are and what it is that you do. Like, you're a coach, you're a doctor, you're this. That doesn't matter. What matters is really about how you solve the problem. Always focus on the problem.